Does absolute truth exist, viewers? Or is everything a matter of perspective? Well, in the land of Britannia, absolute truth exists in the form of a book in a library, and we will be finding that today on Let's Play Ultima 4. First, however, there is another new enemy here lurking by Lord British's castle, an Eton. Etons are... they have 112 hit points, they give you 8 experience points, and they do up to 14 damage. They have a ranged attack. Much like a number of other enemies that I've encountered in the last couple of sessions. Come on, game. But, as I said, I came back to Lord British's castle. I did go in and level. I also went to the healer. And I should probably do that again, since that Eton took so much HP off of me. I'll be right back. So, something I actually decided to do on the spur of the moment is I've gone back and forth between Lord British and the healer a couple of times, as I've described before, to grind my sacrifice all the way up to being prepared for elevation and sacrifice. It looks like you get the option to do that as long as you have more than half your health. So at this time I was able to do it 2 or 3 times every time I got healed up, so it wasn't too big of a deal. I know based on my off-screen display here that I have enough sacrifice points. If you aren't using that, I believe if you do it 10 times total from neutral starting value, that would be more than enough, generally. It's basically 5 points each time you do it. But if I talk to Hawkwind, he should be telling me, with a badly formatted line break, that I should go seek out elevation and sacrifice. I'll take care of it. So anyway, as I was saying, I have gone back to Lord British's castle. I have elevated myself to level 6, got my stats raised and everything. Which is important, because now that I'm over 10,000 moves, the enemies are becoming quite a bit more dangerous. Now, since I'm over here, I'm going to just walk over land to Empath Abbey, because I do need to go back there. Now that I know I'm supposed to be asking about that word of power there. I'll probably cut out some of this because it's not a terribly interesting trip. And yes, it probably is a little bit silly to fight monsters with just a mage wielding a sling, but whatever, it's good enough. So all we need to do is come back to the Lord of the Castle here, ask about the word, and he tells us we know 1 syllable. No. I just asked about it to troll you. No. We do want to know the word of passage, or your syllable at least, and it is ammo. As in amour. Creative game. Creative. Done. I'll meet you back at my boat now. Wow, they sure do hit heavy these days. I'm gonna go get healed again. Sorry. Alright, now let me actually continue with my plans for the episode. Eventually. If the wind cooperates. So what I'm going to do is sail basically due east to get to Verity Isle, basically where I started the game, because that is where both the Lycaeum and the moon gate around Moonglow are. However, I'm actually going to stop in Vesper, because I do need to go to the guild shop there and get a sextant. And I also want to go to the Shrine of Sacrifice, since I did get myself ready for elevation there. Something I haven't noted before, by the way, you'll notice on the middle right there, SHP is basically the integrity of your ship's hull. If you get hit by cannon fire or other missile attacks on the overworld map while in a ship, that will degrade. Of course the wind's blowing the complete wrong direction for this trip. It always is. And if your ship's hull gets to 0, I believe it's game over. If, however, you exit your ship and reboard it at any time, I believe that will always reset it back to 50, which is kind of an exploit you can use if you really want to. Oh, here is a giant squid, which will probably... Okay, I took care of it. I'll show those off later. Come on, can I just get to shore here, please? Good enough. Alright, there's Vesper. So I believe I also want to ask about something at the pub here. Yes, I was told here that I should ask about Nightshade here, so I'll take care of that as well. Where's the pub? This one? Yes. As always, remember to tip your barkeep. Correct, Nightshade. Nightshade. Okay, and the cost for that information is 25 gold. And we learned that someone named Virgil Intrinsic knows about it. You may remember Virgil as the weird person who was sitting in the middle of a bunch of poison fields. Which means we have to go through that again, eventually, to learn more about that. So, at the guild shop here, we were told earlier in one of the pubs, the pub in Jellum, that if we ask for item D, which is not on the menu here, we are able to buy a sextant for 900 gold, which is pretty expensive, but I have plenty. Which is one reason I've been going overland and fighting monsters, because I do need that gold for things. So, there it is. And if you use the sextant with the L for locate command, it will give you those latitude and longitude readings, which are letters instead of numbers for some reason. I believe it's basically a 256 by 256 tile map on the overworld. So it's more or less just a base 16 value for that, just written with letters A through P or whatever. So I'm gonna head up north to the Shrine of Compassion, gradually. There it is. Yay, more trolls! So, as is my usual practice, I will slowly meditate through all the possible cycle lengths here and display all those messages. It would be a little more interesting if they didn't tell you when you enter the shrine what virtue it is, so you have to use the directions in town to figure out what shrine you've actually reached, but they didn't do it that way. Oh well. The mantra, of course, you will remember is Ka, as in what the Raven says. I'll not sing the song again, don't worry. So after one cycle, we learn that giving your last gold piece shows sacrifice. Again, it's something you could do if you were spending a lot of money to begin with, but I'm not. And here we learn that if your companions are on the battlefield, but you, the party leader, run away, that harms your demonstration of sacrifice. So, don't do it. Running is a bad idea anyway, so I don't know. Alright, and here's our elevation in sacrifice. Hooray! And again, we get to see a runestone. That one's also N. We saw that one already. Whatever. Are these all I's and N's, or what? I don't know. Okay, that was actually pretty quick. My meditation counter came up within just a few moves, so I'll do that. And we learn with our 3-cycle meditation that if we give our life's blood with no apostrophe, that's a virtue of great praise, specifically sacrifice. Lovely. I'm actually going to not reload because it didn't take that many moves to get my counter up again. Every time you meditate at a shrine, you do get a bit of spirituality points. So it's worth keep holding on to it. Just makes my spirituality grinding a little faster. I don't really want to fight the Cyclops. So, at this point, I'm going to just move on to... I'm gonna have to fight the Cyclops anyway, aren't I? Whatever. I need the money. There is eventually a weapon upgrade for the mage that I will be wanting to get, but it costs quite a bit of money. Of course, now I have to go south and the wind's in that direction. Thanks, game. What are the reagents for wind change? Is it worth doing it? AE? Sure. Just to demonstrate it. If I wanted to make this faster, I mix wind change, cast it. I would instead like wind to be coming from the north to blow me south, I guess. And that makes it a lot faster until the wind changes again. That is the northern tip of Verity Isle that you see there. Oh, is that the whirlpool there? Let me demonstrate that. Oh no, that's a water weird, isn't it? I'll fight one. Sure. Right? Or is that the whirlpool? Yep, that's the whirlpool. And that's the sound of a whirlpool. It didn't actually do anything, did it? Huh. Okay. Well, I don't want to take all that damage, so I'll reboot anyway, but... My understanding was that going through the whirlpool is actually one of the ways of getting into the interior of Loch Lake. But I'm not sure what the criteria for actually making that happen would be. Where is the Lycaeum? Should be pretty much right there, right? Yeah. Just need to go a little more east. But you can also get to Loch Lake by, as I did, using blink spells to it, or to cove around Loch Lake. Or you can get a pirate ship to spawn within the lake itself, which is really not worth the trouble. It's hard enough to get a ship at all, let alone one that's in a place where you can barely use it usefully. Anyway, this is the Lycaeum, as in, hey, Lord British, is that Avatar here yet? Oh yeah, Lycaeum. Whatever. So, here's a guard who is sleepy and guards everything, apparently. And has been here for hours. I sure hope Britannia has an 8-hour workday, or even better, a 4-hour one. Leave the guards say anything else of any note. Yes. In fact, they do. That actually triggers their question. Sure, I understand that you're tired. Yep. I believe there is only that one guard script in this castle, so don't worry about it beyond that. There is a wizard named Timus, who welcomes us to the Lycaeum. I can make a reasonable guess, yes. There are 4 virtues that touch on truth in some way, and therefore 4 cities, one for each of those virtues. And the dungeon altar rooms need 4 stones each. I wonder if there's a connection. Implication is yes, there is. I don't know if anyone explains it more explicitly than that, so... Basically what happens is you get to the altar rooms, you need to use 4 stones, 1 for each of the virtues involved in the principle of that altar room. Anyway, this person is a truth seeker who is in a meditative state and still is conversing with us, I don't know. Okay, and there we learn again that if we do each of the cycle lengths, we will know something. They clarify here, actually, that it is minutes that we're meditating for, which for all I know, it actually is real-time minutes. I wouldn't be too surprised. Is that the same truth seeker I just talked to? I think so. Yep, all have the same script. But do note that their sprites there are a mage, a druid, a ranger, and a paladin. What could that mean? The answer, which we should know by now, is that those are the 4 character classes from the towns that are involved in truth. Here is the wizard Nigel at thy service. That is actually his name, Nigel at thy service. If you look at the game data, that is how it is actually written. But his health is good enough, and he teaches spells. Such as specialty. Do we know what his specialty is? Okay, I think back in Moonglow someone told us that they were the apprentice to the wizard Nigel, and he specializes in a spell called Recall. which is not the real name of the spell, it's just his nickname for it. But by doing that, we actually learn the reagents for the resurrection spell, which is basically all of them. But there it is. So, moving on, that's the south half of the castle. Yay, I don't have to worry about donating at the healer anymore. Because you actually won't lose sacrifice if you stop donating. Don't worry about it. Here is an injured fighter with grievous wounds. General Grievous? No, that's something else. And this person lost in a dungeon altar room. For simplicity, we'll pretend that we have. And he tells us that each of the 3 rooms connects to 4 dungeons each. Again, the dungeons connected to the opposite of the virtue of the altar room, we can probably assume. Despite what he says, by the way, you can't actually lose in a dungeon altar room as far as I know. There is no combat there, no boss fight, or any such thing that would actually injure you. It's just a room with an altar in it. But we'll see those later. I don't care about the healer. The other dead people there all have the same script, so don't worry about them. You're the same guard, right? Oh, this is actually a brawny guard named John, who is also tired and guards the throne room. Oh, he tells us the answer right here. Clever. Yes, I am aware of that town. Does he tell us which one? Okay, he actually does explain in a little more detail there. There are 8 cities, there are 8 combinations of the principles, but whatever. You can figure it out, or you're expected to be able to. Here's a mage in strange armor, named Skatu Verada Nikto. Yes, that's the original reference, I won't make the other one. Who is in good health and advises. Yes, I have done that. Does he say anything else? Oh yeah, we ask him about the armor he's wearing. Okay. No, not yet. Actually, yes, I am, in fact. Does it affect what he says? Okay. Well, happily I can honestly answer that yes, I am a partial avatar in 3 of the 8 virtues now, so... When you are an 8-part avatar, seek Zircon and ask of mystics. I think we already heard about that, but whatever. And I think I forgot to ask him about it when I was in Minok, but I'll take care of it sometime. So, how are you wearing mystic armor if you're not an 8-part avatar? Whatever. Here's a jester named Zajac, not to be confused with Pat Sajak. But he's unhappy, even though his job is to entertain. But not now. Why are you unhappy, Jester? Chuckles has a secret. Yeah, I have met Chuckles. I'll take care of that. How important could it possibly be? Answer, not very. Let's talk to the Queen first. This is Beth Fraser. Who rules? Do you rule the province? Yes, you do. And the people here like truth. Fair enough. Yep. I'll take care of that, thanks. You're not very helpful. Similarly, the Baron here... Is he a king or a baron or what? I don't know. I think the kings all have more or less the same script, but whatever. Anyway, we're supposed to come here and ask him about the word to. And he knows a syllable. I would like to know it now. And it is ver. Ver. Veer. I don't know. Veer? No, that's something else. Ver as in verity. Creative game. Moving on. Oh, there's a treasure chamber up there, too. Right? Yeah. Is this guard supposed to be guarding that treasure chamber? Yes, she is. This is Catriona the Treasure Guard. Yes, I'm here to steal your stuff. But she actually won't stop you, as noted before. You would be a very bad person if you steal those treasures. So, I'm not gonna do it. Let's see. Let's talk to this person first. An old, familiar-looking druid named Father Antos. The reason he looks familiar, by the way, is that he is actually a reference back to Ultima 2, where there is a character named Father Antos who lives in outer space and gives you a plot-critical clue. So, it's implied this is the same person, I guess. But we don't care about Ultima 2. It's not a very good game. But because he's from such an old game, he's seen many quests and he's old and frail. But yes, I am on a quest. And we've been told that people named Antos know about the artifacts of the principles, so we already have the candle, so do you know about the bell? No? How about the book? Yes, it is a book of truth, as noted before, and we seek it where other books lie. Like in the manual? No. For the time being, let's come up here to the observatory and talk to a wise old sage named Palomar. I feel like there's a pun to make there, but I don't know what it is. Whatever. Yes, that thing up there is actually a telescope, just so you know. Even though it doesn't look much like it. What happens if you say no? He doesn't direct you very much more usefully. But if you say yes, he just tells you to set the dial. And what he's referring to is if you search right here, there's a telescope. You can select whatever random letter between A and P you care about, which is basically a number between 1 and 16. And it lets you effectively view some town. It doesn't clarify which one, but it's basically a cheap way of getting a map of a town if you experiment with it some. I don't have a use for it, but maybe some people playing the game blindly would. I don't know. So over here, we actually need to use a magic key to get in here. And here's Lord Terrence, who is the librarian, implying this is probably a library. The only one in Britannia, of course. I am looking for a book, the Book of Truth. And we look under T. Okay. Because where other books lie is obviously a library. Here it is. Here's a druid named Estro. Not to be confused with anything named Astro. I'm sure there's something. And his job is research with no punctuation. He's looking for the Book of Justice. As far as I know, there's no such thing. Hast thou never committed any crime? Again, double negative, the answer is no. Most people have committed some crime because we live in a overly legislated society. So, we speak to the judge and you, which I've already done. It's a bit more guidance on that, if you really need it. But I would think that most people would have explored you pretty thoroughly by the time they come here. Anyway, if we're looking for the Book of Truth, we would look somewhere over here in the vicinity of TUV. Where is it exactly? There it is, between R and V. Got it. And we have experience, but it'll be a while yet before we have enough for another level. We'd need 3,200. So, that is everything we can do in the Lycaeum here. So, next time, we will be moving on to other places we can get to with our boat, probably including the third castle of the principals. So, we'll get to that next time. Thank you for watching, and good night to you.